You're never going to convince a progressive based on logic as to why they're wrong, why collectivism doesn't work, why we're better off if people get to earn money and keep their own stuff. Never going to happen. But you don't have to humor them like it's. I'm not talking about us. This doesn't apply to us. We're not. I'm talking about the dynamic of what I call the whores, pimps, and thieves. The whores, pimps, and thieves. These are the elected officials that are right now 100% meaningless on state level and on a national level. Sorry, dear friends of mine who are elected, you're meaningless right now. There's nothing you can do. And here's why. Because there's always somebody making an excuse on the Republican side who won't call it for what it is and just grab on it and take it to a New York, to a Wall Street Journal editorial or being on a camera right in front of everybody and just screaming about how evil socialism is, and that's the real war in the battle at hand. They won't even come out and tell the truth about this. Talib, what's her name? Making excuses for her, saying she's not really, doesn't really mean some of the things she says. Oh yeah, she does. She wants your head on a frickin' stick, man. She wants you crucified upside down if you're not one of the Muslim Brotherhood. The point is that we gotta stop being nice about this. And again, I don't mean us so much. I mean the people we elect. Should I say this out loud? I had Rob Steele in my living room, and he was running against John Dingell, and we're sitting there, and I said, "You got to stop saying that. You need to start saying this." And he roars back and he goes, "Thayrone, I can't talk like you do. I can't do that. It's too raw. If I talk like you, I'll never get elected." What's his name? Ron Weiser. Here he is on the Board of Regents. Does he talk nice and kiss ass? Yeah. Nobody is willing to say what needs to be said. Now, this is going to sound horribly egotistical. It's not. They need to start talking like I do on the radio. Dead seriously. It's not that they talk like I talk. They're not cool enough to do that. But I mean the content needs to be right in the face of the enemy because they are the enemy. The Democrat Party is no longer our friends. They're not. And the ones that are Democrats that are these delusional, I'm a John F. Kennedy Democrat, I'm a Hubert Humphrey Democrat. Those days are way over. It's a socialist party now, by design. It's been co-opted by the Socialist Party long ago, came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and right now, anybody in the Democrat Party is either a useful idiot or a complicit socialist, 100%. So, in keeping with my 25% less nice campaign, stop calling them Democrats. Call them Democrat Socialists. Repeat after me. Democrat Socialists. Use that. Because it's beyond accurate. It's straight up descriptive of what they are. And some people will say, oh, they're not socialists. Oh yeah, they are. 100%. 100%. Again, I got it all they really care about is power and plunder. They're hateful. They want you in fear, too. They want you to be afraid. How many people have heard on Wham Radio my rant about that I don't own anything? You guys, has anybody ever heard that? You heard that? Yeah, that was too good. It's too good, man. It's too damn good. Plus, I'm too lazy to record another one. But anyway, I was addressing a bunch of ladies out of the Republican Party way back when out here at Bloomfield Hills. They got a nicer place than you do. But anyway, I said to these ladies, these beautiful, nice ladies, how many of you ladies have got your mortgage paid off? The majority of the room went up and pretty much all. And I said, and how many of you think now that it's paid off that go in your house? And all the hands went up. And I said, you don't own jack shit. And I said, you don't. I said, don't pay your property tax. And don't pay it for like a year or two and see who owns that property. And this is the real evil right now that's in our face of socialism, that we don't own any property. They've rigged the system in America. It used to be like this. They've rigged the system in America that we must do this or else kids won't get educated. Are you kidding me? I'm going to get to this education thing in a minute. This is, by the way, that's the most important thing right now in our lives is education. But I don't know how we get politicians to stand up and start working toward getting rid of property tax. I can't tell you how many I've spoken with face to face. I don't drink anymore, but they've been drunk from time to time. And we talk about this and they say, you don't understand, it can't happen. It'll never happen. Well, I know that it's never going to happen now, but somebody needs to stand up and start screaming about it, even if you die and you're sort of doing it, even if it's an exercise in futility. That goes back to what I was saying about our politicians. I'm not insulting them. They can't get anything done, even if they want to. Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, anybody know who those guys are? Andy Biggs. These guys are the tip of the spear, man. They can't do anything, but they sure do put a message out there when they talk, don't they? And a lot of people listen when they talk. And that's all a politician can do now. A conservative politician can stand up and bring a message to the people in their constituency, but wherever they can do it, on a newspaper, on a radio show, on TV, whatever. That's what they need to do. And they shouldn't stop. If you're on the national level, you got C-SPAN that's dying for you to come in and stand in front of a camera at 3 in the morning. Do it. They're not doing it. But you know what? I have never heard Tim yet talk about the evils of socialism on the Steve Gruber show. I've never heard him talk about the Democrat socialists are the real enemy at hand. He's still in that colleague thing. That's bullshit about it. I've heard this from guys on the show. I had Tom Tancredo on my show years ago when he was in the House. And I said, so Tom, you guys know Tom Tancredo? I said, what's it like, Tom, when you walk down the hall? I said, they all get on the other side, don't they? He said, yeah. I said, well, name a couple. He said, I can't really do that. We have to work together. How they're saddled. They will not stand up and take the education campaign to the people about what's really going on. And there's another reason as to why they won't. The vast majority of our elected officials aren't smart enough to be there in the first place. They wouldn't have a clue about what I'm talking about. And if they did, they'd look at me from across my living room and go, I can't talk like you do. I need to hear people like screaming, for example, on the floor of the House. If we really wanted to make a difference in this country, we would abolish the Department of Education. I know that plays well in this room, and that's a guarantee. Yeah, but you know what? Somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to start talking about it. Just talk about it. You know, by the way, can anybody name the one guy that did talk about it? Libertarian? Yeah, he put together a one-page bill. It was like 2 paragraphs that sunsetted out Department of Education midnight on December 31st, 2017. I thought, that didn't see light of day. Back into the socialism thing here. We have a unique brand of American socialism that really is socialism. A lot of people don't think that, but we do. And even that being said, don't we still have it really good here? We do, man. There's no better place than right here in this country. No better place. They're working night and day to destroy that and make it into just another country. America is Rwanda, is Canada, is Argentina. That's what they're trying to do. But our unique brand of American socialism runs in through local, city, state, school, all these municipalities. Whenever you go, by the way, to pay your property taxes, if you ever go in person, you walk into a room and you go down a hallway of a building that costs way too much money, that houses way too many people that shouldn't be employed. And then you go down back where like the treasurer is, and what's there? A vast sea of cubicles or desks. And what are they doing? They're staring at a computer screen. It's bullshit. It's also American social. It's like, this is funny. When we were kids, we learned about how in Russia they have what called commissars, right? And you had to go before the commissar and ask for permission to do something. And it'd be like 3 guys or something, 5 guys. We're there right now. We're there. That's exactly what's going on right now. Right now. Try and build I don't know what your ordinances are out here, but try and build a 10-foot fence on your property. Yeah. Just do it. Just build one. See what happens. I did once 100 years ago, and I got red tape, and I had to cut 2 feet off it. Threat of being sued by the city, and it was a nightmare. That'll teach me. They didn't put me in the boxcar. I avoided going in the boxcar. When you look at this new Green Deal, if you take the time to read the sections out of it that nobody reads, everybody's laughing, this is going to make us all get rid of air travel and blah, blah. No. What that bill is about, 100% has nothing to do with cow farts. Has nothing to do with whether we're all going to go to solar panels. There's 2 paragraphs in there that are locked down government control of our economy. Yep. No more free market. You think I'm kidding? Read the bill. Read the frickin' bill. It's right in there where everything is now going through. Congress is irrational. Everything irrelevant. They are irrational, but irrelevant. It's all about commissions and panels that decide every economic decision going forward. That's what that's about. That bitch didn't write that bill. But guess what? She's the one holding it up. And when you saw all those people, if you paid attention in Nancy Pelosi's office when she was put into Congress, and she went over there to she was greeting these protesters. You remember that? Do you remember that by any chance? All these people were going to sit in Nancy Pelosi's office. Did you notice the t-shirts they were wearing? Probably did. They were all wearing the same t-shirt. That's the communist control organization she belongs to with her group. I remember coming here back in 2010, 11, whatever that time period was, and y'all were in here. How many people went back to the original Tea Party? Well, back then, we thought that we could become precinct delegates, and therefore we'd have a voice, and we could go, and we could pick people that we want to run. And I'm not belittling the effort, but boy, was that a bust or what? What did we find out? We found out that the swamp, the people that actually controlled everything, never were going to stop controlling everything. And what we got Rick Snyder, Arlen Meekoff, and a couple of house speakers that weren't worth a shit. Tom Miller's a good guy, but he wasn't loud, warrior-like enough. None of them were warrior-like enough. None of them. Again, I go back to, none of them are smart enough to be there in the first place. They don't know the war. And man, I can't put it any more accurately than that. I mean, some of you probably know this. We're in a war. We're literally in a war. We have the comfort of having great hamburgers and cool cars and cool shoes. I've got rich shoes on today. We got good stuff, and we're comfortable, but we're in a war to make sure that your grandchildren are the ones that are really going to lose out here. Because, and you know, the sad part is they're probably not going to know the difference, because they're going to think, oh, I'm supposed to be in a 400 square foot studio apartment. I'm supposed to not have a car and just have a bicycle. I'm supposed to just have public transportation. And I'm supposed to work 50 feet that way and get my medical 20 feet that way and never leave my block. That's what they're angling for. They want nobody should own a house. Everybody should be kind of like a jacked up version of Sweden. And that's where we're at right now. And that brings me to, first of all, there's no such thing as crony capitalism. Stop saying that too. Democrats aren't Democrats, they are Democrat. Socialists. Yes. And there's no such thing as a crony capitalist. When you hear somebody say that, say, no, they're crony socialists. That whole, I want to say, mechanism by which they did this stimulus package. What was it? A123 battery went under, but they got the loans from the government, blah, blah, blah. I forget the guy's name, but some gazillionaire in Iowa got $175 million in guaranteed loans for some green company. Anybody remember that? And the company went belly up. Well, guess what? He didn't lose any money on his own because he was doing such a good thing for the people. That's crony socialism. They take your tax dollars and they give it to a business who's acting as some kind of a quasi-government operation. And herein lies the real evil. This is happening underneath our noses, especially what they call masters of the universe, the guys that run the Googles and the Facebooks and the Twitters and all that. But a lot of the other things too, AT&T, you name it. These guys are hooked in with being able to get government subsidy and tell you what you can do or not do, what you can do communication-wise or not, or what product you're going to get. And so they don't have to worry about the Constitution because they're not the government. When Facebook tells you what you can say, they're a perfect example of what you can. I was in Facebook jail. I didn't have sex and I didn't get the tattoo. I got it clean. I was in Facebook jail because what did I post up there? Oh, it was something on Muslims.